best way I can explain it is, the only person that actually looked alive in this movie was Beetlejuice. Michael Keaton, what? Like almost 80, doing Beetlejuice again. This is a movie that should have been done like 15 years ago. It just feels like a sequel that's just been, it's too late. It's too late for this. And I think it's just silly.
Well, I hate to say it, but I kind of liked it.
It's showtime.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of Rewind Releases. My name is Will, aka Mr. Bundle Pack himself, and I guess welcome to my casting couch. Today we are actually going to be discussing Beetlejuice.
Can't believe Grandpa's dead.
Death is hard.
Yeah, sometimes I think life is harder.
So let me just start by saying I'm a huge fan of the original. I consider the original to be a huge staple in my childhood. And with this sequel being released 30 years later, I went into this movie with little to no expectations. But I gotta say, I am really surprised how much I enjoyed this movie. So when the first trailer came out, I ended up putting a trailer reaction video out describing my overall feelings about it. One thing I did bring up was that Michael Keaton coming back to reprise his role as Beetlejuice, and being 70 years young, I just thought it was kind of interesting, to say the least.
What the f?
And that I thought this sequel should have been made 15 years ago. And then the angry comments started rolling in. I never imagined I would piss this many people off just for saying Michael Keaton is 70. Listen, I get it. Keaton is considered one of the greatest actors of our generation. I mean, he's Batman.
I'm Batman.
But I will say when watching this sequel, I did notice a couple things that felt different to the character of Beetlejuice because of Michael Keaton's age. Again, these are just my opinions. One thing I did notice that felt different with Keaton's performance was the Beetlejuice voice. It sounded a lot more gravelly, where it felt like there wasn't the same energy as in the original, where it seemed to stay at the same volume and pitch. Where like in the original, it kind of went from this low gravelly voice to this high yell, and I felt like he didn't do that at all in this movie.
I'm needed upstairs. Bob, hold down the fort.
Hey, I'm just doing my job exactly.
The boys stand guard. Nobody gets through.
Well, I attended Juilliard. I'm a graduate of the Harvard Business School. I travel quite extensively. I lived through the Black Plague, and I had a pretty good time during that.
I've seen The Exorcist about 167 times, and it keeps getting funnier every single time I see it.
Again, this isn't a big deal. This is just something I noticed. It was just great to see him don the whole black and white suit and just to see the character of Beetlejuice on screen again. That's just how amazing Keaton is as an actor. He can come back to a character 30 years later and still make it work. A lot of the new ideas that were in this movie I really enjoyed. And most of the jokes landed for me, especially from Catherine O'Hara. She is one of my all-time favorites from the original. Most of the sets looked great. It really had the same feel and look from the original. One of my biggest worries going into this was how much CGI was going to be used compared to how the original was just used with practical effects and claymation. And to my surprise, a lot of the effects actually looked to be practical, very minimal CGI. I was happy to see the sandworms actually done in claymation, where it wasn't as janky as in the original, where it had a smoother movement, but either way it still looked great. One negative I will give this movie is too many dance numbers. The one sequence that was in the church towards the end just felt like it went on forever. And once I saw Jenna Ortega start dancing, I immediately thought to myself, of course she's dancing in this. She has to. I mean, who could forget the super viral dance that she did in Wednesday? Remember that? For months, all I saw on TikTok was people doing this stupid dance. I will say the whole Soul Train dance sequence was fun, but I'm not really a huge flash mob enthusiast. The cast in this was great, returning and even the new characters. Winona Ryder reprising her role as an older Lydia Dietz, who pops pills, who now basically considers herself a sellout because she hosts a ghost adventure type TV show. Justin Theroux cast as Rory, who is Lydia's scumbag producer on her TV show and is also dating her, but only to get her money. Plus, the douchebag ponytail is a really nice touch. I was happy to see Danny DeVito make a small cameo as a zombie janitor. I just imagined this was Frank from Always Sunny in Philadelphia, who died and became a zombie janitor. The whole time he's on screen, he's just drooling and spitting up this horrible mucus. Most of the reviews I've seen so far talking about Monica Bellucci, who played Beetlejuice's wife, could have been written out completely. And honestly, I agree. She pops in and out of this movie, and at one point I totally forgot she was in this. Until she finally shows up 20 minutes before the movie's supposed to end. But then again, her character really has no importance to the overall plot. If her character had been written out of this, it wouldn't affect the plot at all. Not to mention, her character was created just because of a throwaway line in the original.
There you go. I'm telling you, honey, she meant nothing to me. Nothing at all.
Oh my god, we cannot forget to mention Willem Dafoe as Wolf Jackson.
Recognize this puss.
Never seen that chick before in my life. Or afterlife.
When Wolf was alive, he was an actor playing a cop on TV. Then he died and then became the chief of police for the Netherworld. His performance throughout was very entertaining to watch. And it even looked like Willem was actually having a great time playing this character. And the makeup and prosthetics he had were amazing. So, I know I'm gonna get a lot of shit for saying this, but every time I see Jenna Ortega in anything, I feel like she plays the same character every time.
When you're all driving carpool and banging your Pilates instructors to fill the empty voids in your life, we'll see who gets the last laugh.
Don't get me wrong, I think she was perfectly cast to play Lydia's daughter. Either way, I do think she was perfectly cast in this. And if they ever decide to reboot Beetlejuice, I think she'd be the perfect casting to play a young teenage Lydia. And the kid who played Jeremy Fraser, who tries to trick Asshat by allowing him to come back to life for her soul, and I thought his performance was good. One thing I really wish we got to see more was the whole Lydia and Beetlejuice team up.
How do I know that you're gonna keep your word?
I swear on my dead mother's soul. Yes.
That was something I really enjoyed seeing. Their back and forth banter really reminded me a lot of the Beetlejuice cartoon show I used to watch when I was a kid. Where the cartoon revolved around the two going on adventures while, of course, Beetlejuice causing shenanigans and making the situation 10 times worse. Where it had a similar dynamic to the movie Drop Dead Fred.
Didn't get mad.
Drop Dead Fred.
She got Fred.
What, who dropped dead?
Drop Dead Fred is this imaginary friend that I had as a child, and he's back.
Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room, and that's Jeffrey Jones.
A little remodeling.
And if you're unaware, Jeffrey Jones he's on a list. Pretty much the worst list you can ever think of. A list that doesn't allow you to go to little kids' birthday parties, we'll just say. So how do you go about writing an original character back into the movie without the original actor? Easy. You have his character get his head bit off by a claymation shark. I gotta say, I really think this was a clever way of how they went around it. I mean, Alec Baldwin and Gina Davis didn't even reprise their role, and they are a little less problematic. Well,
who was 42, was working on the film Rust. She died after a prop gun held by the actor Alec Baldwin discharged. He's previously said he didn't pull the trigger and had no idea how a live bullet came to be on the set.
And don't get me started on Danny Elfman.
I love little girls, they make me feel so good.
I will say, after seeing this movie, I immediately had a thought. Like, if this movie does well financially, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a third installment already in the works. And if they're smart about it, they would name it Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice. But I gotta say, I really enjoyed the overall silliness, and I really appreciate Tim Burton actually keeping the whole look and feel from the original. And if I were to have to give Beetlejuice a rating, I would say a 7.5 out of 10.
Thank you all for coming to this special occasion, but right now we'd like a little privacy.
But hey, that's my review, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please comment down below and let me know what you guys thought of Beetlejuice. Remember to like and share this video. Check out our merch. Hope to see you guys again soon. Have a good one. Bye.